Hello, Mechwarriors, and welcome to the Mech Bay, where we fix your mech and fix your game. What's going on, Mechwarriors? I'm your host, Josh. I've got my co-hosts, Justin and Denham, in the lands with me today. What's going on, Mechwarriors?
Howdy, howdy.
Josh, am I your favorite co-host?
If I had two medium lasers, I would shoot myself twice. How about that?
All right.
I forget. I've never seen The Office in its entirety, but I know there's a line something like that, right?
I'm trying to remember.
If I was trapped in an office with one person with a gun, I would shoot X and Y twice.
Yeah, shoot myself twice.
There you go. Okay. Well, now the joke's not funny anymore.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But
we killed it. Sorry, folks.
Oh, it's already
Send
down.
us your hate mail. Yep.
Why is it whenever we try, the plane comes in for a landing, we throw off the landing gear and we just crash and burn?
Crash. Just it's the way it's style, right?
It's true. But we are the Mech Bay Podcast, your number one source for everything competitive to casual tabletop Battletech, which is a lot considering there's a lot of tabletop Battletech going on right now. What is going on technically today while we're recording, gentlemen?
Yeah, that's right.
Gen Con.
Yeah, Gen Con. We've been seeing some
Jenkins.
Yeah, let's slide right on into that news. We've been getting that Gen Con drip. None of us are obviously there as we're recording right now, and Gen Con's happening. But from our lovely Discord users, we've been getting some close-ups, some nice shots. I think somebody even won something at Masters and Minions.
But yeah, so firstly, have to thank listener Cataphract 40, also Patreon to the Mech Bay Podcast show, essentially dumping all of the on-the-ground Gen Con pictures for us to swoon and, enhance about, because I wish we were there, but we're just not due to other things.
Yeah, my vacation budget is all gone. And we all know why. Yeah. All gone.
Yes, it was Cataphract. He won a painted blood asp.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah, at Masters and Minions, yeah.
Whoa.
Do we know who he played?
Yeah, they signed his record sheet, and I think it's Anthony Scroggins.
Nice
job.
Okay, so it's not just the man, the legend, the Cataphract 40. It's literally the legend, the blood asp, the Cataphract 40.
That's right. Clash of the Titans there, but it looks like he cleaned up good. We've been seeing some other new sculpts fresh off the print bed into the CSO hands, I'm guessing. Some good-looking paint jobs. We got, the Alpha Wolf?
Yeah, so we got to see a quick Alpha Wolf prototype from Ironwind Metals, as well as the newly released Jade Phoenix.
We saw...
Stab chronological going down the list, skipping ahead.
It was the segue, man. We segued.
You segued ahead of Black Knight Thorncrow. But yes,
Josh is like only in order.
yes, that's all my brain can handle.
For all the listeners that can't see right now, I skipped a couple bullet points ahead and broke the podcast. So let's hit the rewind button. Back on up.
All right,
we got hats. Hats is next on the list.
I wish I looked better in hats. I would buy them all.
Those are $30 a piece hats. Like, I don't know what hats you shop for your, well, you have a full head of hair. So I got to first off complain about that. But the selection of hats was the Gen Con Battletech exclusive that was, purchasable besides a few other things. But yeah, so we got faction logos on hats and
mugs.
And mugs, technically.
I was more excited about the mugs.
Yeah.
So I knew you would be more excited, says Mr. I used to make pottery for Etsy.
Yes.
So we'll just segue into give me the critique on these mugs, Mr. Pottery Wheelman.
They look like production, but
I would hope they're production.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an equivalent. They're production, but they're not like mass-produced mugs in China that had, the faction stamps put on the side of them. They're a nice in-between.
They're not artisanal. They're not mass-produced. They're somewhere in the lovingly handcrafted in a batch?
Probably. They're probably manufactured in the States. I don't have the details on that though, but they're nice.
But from your trained mugs. Pottery eye, which is a weird thing for why you're on the podcast, is for all pottery needs.
They're good. They're good mugs. Yeah, they look nice. I like them. I want one.
Oh, me too.
So we got logo mugs and logo hats, and the hats, they look pretty good. I mean, the problem is I want hats to be like wild and fun, but I all know hats can't be wild and fun and just serve the purpose of keeping my head not exposed to the sun. So it's like, what do you want from this hat, man? What hat / faction would you get, Denham? Out of the assorted faction hats we saw.
I would have to get the Draconis Combine because that's what I run the mostly.
Okay,
but I already have I've got the hat from the really cool hat actually from the HBS game Kickstarter. I really like that one a lot.
Oh, you kicked that one. You kicked that starter, didn't you?
I kicked that one hard.
Kicked that starter.
All right. We all know I'd pick Merrick. I get that Merrick hat. Give me that purple bird.
I didn't see a Comstar hat. That was my problem. I was like, can I just get
Comstar?
Can I just get a blank white unwashed hat?
Yes. Comstar.
I'll even take Word of Blake at this point, guys.
After hats on the list is the Black Knight.
That's right. That's coming back. That's coming back into the store. The plastic premium.
Yeah.
What wave is this? Can someone? I'm looking at my imaginary whiteboard that's supposedly next to my computer that says, "Which wave Black Knight are we on, Josh? Which lot number is this?" And I think it's 4.
Is it? It's 3 or 4, right?
Okay, so let's go through. We got the Creative Juggernaut Wave 1 Black Knight, which shipped out, sold out, and then they kind of came back, and then it had like a little. I don't count it as the second wave. I count it as like continuous of Wave 1.
Yeah.
Then we have Wave 2, where they were like, "Oh crap, we sold out like 6 months ago, and we tried again." And that's when I saw like a bunch of slippage on the product. Mm-hmm. And then we had Wave 3, which is like, we gave this STL to Ironwind Metals, and it's now that same product in metal form. Mm-hmm. So if you're following, and now this is Wave 4, which is we took that same STL, we gave it to, I'm guessing, Monster Fight Club to make as a premium miniature.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, They had to redo it. They couldn't use the same one that Creative Juggernaut had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably a different machine.
I mean, there has to be like change, like even from the metal, once it went from Creative Juggernaut to Ironwind Metals, they had to change it to like fix things like fill and space, whatever.
Yeah, I mean it'll look the same, but
exactly,
it's a whole different mold.
Yep,
the core design has not changed, only the production style.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, we are on Wave 4 of the Black Knight. So I'm happy for that because. Well, I'll talk about that later. But actually, considering we talked about our Solaris games last week before.
Last recording,
I was like, you know what? I forgot that there's a Black Knight specifically for the Solaris arenas. The Black Knight, Red Reaper and, X Knights. And I was
got that large shield, right?
Shield. Not even a shield for its size, a large shield. And I was like, man, why have I never bought this? And I went straight to the, model for it. And I was like, yeah, that's why I haven't bought this. So I'm like, I'm actually waiting for this new Black Knight premium model so I can start converting up a Solaris style Black Knight.
Nice. There's also some premium Stormcrow, and there was a third one, wasn't there?
Yeah, the Phoenix Hawk was there, which technically wasn't really changed from what it was before.
Right.
And then we have the Rifleman in its man
big boy
version. Yeah. Not the Rifle Boy version, the Rifleman version. So that's actually pretty good that they came around and fixed that in that time frame.
The Rifleman didn't get fixed until it got double heat sinks, really.
Yeah.
Look,
nice.
we won at the Primitive Rifleman. The Primitive Rifleman was peak Rifleman.
I do like that one. That's a good sculpt.
I would have been happy if they did the Primitive one for sculpt wise. Give me something different.
Oh, I like the one with the 2 rack 5s. I mean, that sculpt would be different. I think that's
that one's got too many wings attached to it.
I just want the rack 5 part. I think that was what the 8D.
I think it's partially unseen or reseen as well.
Google image search, go.
I don't know. I mean, I only know it from its stats. It's got 2 rotary AC5s, 2 ER medium lasers, and it actually has armor, which is cool. Oh, and jump jets. But my other favorite is that 9T with the stealth armor that people have played against me with.
Yeah, I'd play that one.
Oh, yep. I'm looking at it now. Looking at the Fortress.
That's the one that can only reach out to 18, though, right?
Yeah, it only goes out to 18. All its weapons do 5, but the stealth armor is nice, and it's got the light AC, so it can use all the different ammo types.
Light ACs and light PPCs, right?
And ER mediums. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm looking at this Rifleman 8D. Yeah, everyone just buy the Rifleman, cut the arms off, and throw away the rest of the mech, please.
Yeah.
So we saw that blood-ass 3D print prototype. We know that because it's still got like print lines going down it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
But it still looks great. Like it's kind of fixes.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It kind of fixes what was already there for the like Ironwind Metals sculpts, but it just kind of modernizes it. Like it's not a complete redo, which is great. Like I'm liking that it's consistent with historical art.
Yeah. Yep. It's just like 20% less derpy. I'm not usually a mech foot guy, but the blood ass feet really do it for me. Just gonna throw that out there.
just gonna throw it out.
Those are good looking feet.
I'm not a feet person, but the blood ass do it for me.
That's right.
Now I gotta look up the blood ass feet. Says my Google search on incognito mode. Oh Lord.
Wait, we got a Kraken here too. Is this a Grizzly and a Hoplite? I'm seeing from the Masters and Minions stuff. But I think those are coming out in Mercs, at least a lot of them. So
yeah.
Stuff
we just gotta wait.
Before. Just waiting.
We had the Ironwind Metals booth. They had their brand new releases of the new Marauder, which has essentially the swappable torso turret weapon.
The dorsal weapon.
The dorsal weapon. The Gauss rifle, LB, or whatever you want on there.
Oh, nice.
It's a multi-part kit.
Yeah. Posable metal Marauder. Nice.
Yes.
The new sculpt. I'm into that.
We got the new Mastodon. So that's the Clan Ghost Bear Rosselhog Dominion mech.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, none of us are Rosselhog Dominion players.
Thankfully.
I was thinking about it.
We're all like, yeah, we could do it. But
we're going to have to
good.
dig Kurt out of the grave. He's got a Mastodon. It's on order.
It's on order. He was like, I don't play Battletech anymore, but I'm still ordering. And their Jade Phoenix. And we actually got to see that painted up there. That's a big boy Jade Falcon assault mech.
It's intimidating.
Yeah.
That's the one that jumps 7, right?
Go, Sarna, search, go.
Oh, God. Why did I say it? It was like halfway out of my mouth, and I'm like, no.
Don't say
it. Control F, jump. 4 jump jets with partial wings. I don't know what that does. That probably adds some stuff.
Partial wing adds 2. So
that's only 6. Nah, maybe it doesn't jump 7. Okay.
So are we all buying Jade Phoenixes or Alpha Wolves, depending on how we vote for who gets my vote for Terra Ilclan? Yeah.
When I'm done with Southern Assault, my Alpha Galaxy Jade Falcon bird list is coming.
Bird is the word?
Just the sculpts. I'm just going to have all my birds. And I'm going to paint the black and blue Alpha Galaxy because nobody does that. I can't paint green Falcons. It's Alpha Galaxy. I'm like, what? Because I know they don't all have to be green.
I'm pretty sure that's in the law.
Who are you playing? I'm not Jade Phoenix. Why is that stuck in my head? I can't get out of Jade Phoenix. Jade Falcon. I'm playing some Jade Falcons. Those are not green mechs. Sir, those are not Jade Falcons.
Aiden Pride is the Jade Phoenix.
Mm.
That's what that trilogy was named for.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
Is the mech technically named after him or the trilogy?
Probably named after him.
I would hope so, because that'd be weird.
Just like the Bradleys named after Omar Bradley, and
Look at Dustin coming in with some NCD.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only one I got.
Bam.
Thank you, Hearts of Iron.
But yeah, no, those look great. I still think the Alpha Wolf is a weird mech in general, but that's a discussion for another day.
Don't have to love the record sheet. Do love that sculpt.
I do love that sculpt so much.
I thought I wouldn't like the sculpt. I saw the art and I'm like, boo. And then I saw the sculpt and I'm like, it might have to buy one of those.
Take my money. Speaking of take my money, so I've wanted to touch on this for the last couple of times, but the prices for these new mechs are essentially the price of a brand new force pack, like a 4 or 5 mech pack. What are we feeling like in general vibe wise on? I can no longer go to Iron Winds or Fortress and buy willy-nilly at the same price point that I can get plastic mechs anymore.
No.
Do you mean it's like $30 for a Jade Phoenix?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pricey.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Sounds like it's time for a road trip to Cincinnati, boys.
It is. Say that's more than an Essentials box.
It is $24 before shipping for a Jade Phoenix from Iron Winds.
Okay. 24 isn't as bad as 30.
Right.
No, but
if you can get enough people together to get the free shipping, that would be worth it. I'm not saying $24 is worth it. I mean, it would be better to do that to get some friends and do a bulk order.
I think the prices on the plastics will be going up soon too. I think they already have, at least at local game stores and the Barnes and Noble. They used to be like $5. Clearly, they were priced at $5 per mini before, and I think that's gone up a little bit.
Yeah, but that went up
plastic
like 2 years ago almost.
It did. Yeah, it was a while back.
Ago. It hasn't gone up recently.
No, still cheap.
There was a Ironwind Metals shipping increase, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So like the models did not increase, but the shipping per model per order went up. They kind of got around that. But anyways, so out of the new things, the Marauder, Mastodon, Jade Phoenix, and the other stuff, is there anything that you guys are really waiting for, or just kind of like in general, like picking it up as it comes?
I'll just pick them up as they come. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'm really chomping at the bit for, but there's some good stuff in there I'll be getting in the future for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've got my K2, my official K2 catapult now. So I've got a lot of paint. I've got lots and lots to paint, so they can take their time right now.
Excellent. All right. Someone here wrote other like non-tabletop news, and like before I have them taken out and shot behind the shed, we've got MechWarrior 5 DLC, Dragon's Gambit. What is MechWarrior 5? Like, where do I roll dice for that?
Yeah.
Moving on.
MechWarrior 5 DLC is coming out. So if you are still playing MechWarrior 5, go buy it.
Hey, I will go back into MechWarrior 5 to play some Draconis Combine stuff.
Man,
I'm down with that.
I got too many video games and board games and war games trying to get attention in my life. I just need more time. Give me more time, please. I just want to play the things I like.
You're the Outer Limits guy. Like, I just wish I had more time. Breaks his glasses. Is like, oh no, I can't read or do anything.
That's right.
Don't monkey's paw this.
It's the Twilight Zone, right?
I was going to say, is that Twilight Zone?
Oh, man. God.
Justin beat me to it.
Oh, no. But anyways, let's move on to some hobby progress.
Hobby progress.
Woo! Whoever's gotten the least amount of hobby progress has to legally go first. I'm going to go with it's Dustin.
The least?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I painted 10 warriors and 5 immortals.
I'm sorry. I need Battletech.
Oh, correct. Then I had to go first with 10 mortals. 10 immortals and 5 immortals and 10 warriors and 3 scarabs and a partridge in a pear tree. I bought 1 locust heavy destroyer and assembled it. I paint that and I have 2,000 points for the Necrons. Painted, done.
I'm done.
So then I can paint my Southern Assault stuff. I thought I was going to have that for this recording, but then I found out that I didn't actually have 2K points. So
oh my god,
I had to. I know it's rough. I had to go out and buy plastic, and it's all painted, and I didn't have to feel guilty about it this time. So we're good. We're good. I paint my Southern Assault stuff. My 2023 goal will be reached. I'll be all caught up.
Hell yeah, brother.
I will not reached, achieved. All right. How about you guys?
Whoa. So you got this heavy Locust Destroyer, which is essentially the big floaty boy, if I remember correctly, assembled and painted?
No, I just assembled.
Just assembled. Okay.
So you'll have to listen to me talk about painting him on the next recording, but there should be some Battletech stuff in there.
At least give me the percentage of painted Necron 2,000 point army versus not. Like, what are we to completion done?
Oh, it's just a Locust Heavy Destroyer. So,
oh my God, that's so close to being done.
40 points out of 2,000
Why are you
points?
recording right now instead of finishing your army?
It's almost there.
In the history of Warhammer, no one has ever finished painting a 2,000 point army that exists outside. Like, there's nothing more. There's nothing more, if I remember correctly. You have nothing more than 2,000 points of Necrons.
That's it. Yeah, I will. Yeah. And I have to take some war gear to get. I actually have 1,960 points, but I have to take a couple of enhancements. They're called in 10th edition.
Sounds like another Locust to me, right?
Yeah. No. I do like my enhancements, so it counts. It counts as 2,000. It counts as 2,000 points. Yeah, but it'll be done. It'll be just 2,000. It'll be painted, assembled, and done. Yes.
I'm recording this like Dustin said he would only buy 2,000 points on this date. I will wait until he buys more than.
Oh no! I just said that's what I've got now. I will be at some point in the future. I'm sure I will add to my collection, but I will be switching gears back to Battletech. I got to prep for,
Southern Assault.
Yes.
Which we actually have sign-up sheets for now.
That's right.
We just released the player/sign-up sheet packet for that.
Yeah, so that is news. I guess we should have put it in the news section, but yeah, if you haven't heard yet, sign up. I think there's quite a number of slots this year, but they will be filling up.
Yeah.
It is can I just say it's the number one Battletech event of the year?
I mean, it really is. Like,
at least on the East Coast. I think there's a big thing in Texas. There's West Coast doesn't count, whatever.
Now I
don't know what you guys are doing
Texas.
out there. It's the Battlebound crew. I'm pretty sure they do a thing out there.
What? This is the first time I'm literally hearing of it.
That's okay. Or is it Oklahoma? It's like Texas or Oklahoma. It's the plains, somewhere in the Great Plains. I think they have.
Talking Midwest now. The entirety of the Midwest, which apparently
Texas is already
Texas.
A lot of the Midwest. So,
Texas isn't just a panhandle. There's all that stuff up to the northwest of Texas. It's a big state. But yeah, Oklahoma, Texas area. I'm pretty sure there's like a 30 to 40 person thing that has happened in the summers, or at some point they have a. I don't pay attention.
40 persons is like half the number of Southern Assault stuff. So,
that's true.
Like
that's
that's
true.
not even like the biggest comparatively.
Yeah, I don't.
That's a partially.
I don't know if anybody's kept track, but like Classic or Alpha Strike event, probably the biggest Alpha Strike event ever.
How many people were there last year?
52.
50. Yeah.
Something
That's
like that.
a lot. That's a whole lot.
Yeah, it is. Your boys got trophies too.
Mm-hmm. See y'all out there. Sign up.
We'll be there, whether we like it or not.
Oh, we'll like it. I like it. I won't speak for you guys.
All right.
Josh is going to get tied up and he'll be in the trunk, kicking and screaming.
I wish I was kicking and screaming. Oh, man. Now I got to remember. All right. So that was your hobby progress, which was 99% non-Battletech focused.
Correct.
I also did a 99.9% non-Battletech focus. Considering it's only been 2 weeks since we recorded the last episode, I only cleaned my hobby bench, preparing for Dustin's tournament stuff to be received, painted, list made, and all that. So yeah, I blame Dustin for my lack of hobby progress because I'm needing to prep hobby progress for his tournament.
But cleaning is progress.
Cleaning and buying is hobby progress. And technically, I did my buying last episode. So nice. I did my assembling and all that. And now I'm like, okay, now I need to make room to paint it.
I look forward to seeing them.
In hobby progress, I received not one, but 2 Grey Death Legion Force Packs. One for my lovely co-host, Denham, who got me the Grey Death Legion because he just heard me talking about the Regent and the Catapult K2 and the Gargoyle looking through the window and the
They're all good
ShadowHawk.
mechs. Everyone needs one.
Yeah. And then my wife was like, I will also get my husband a Grey Death Legion force pack. So now I have not one, but 2 Grey Death Legion force packs. What do I do with them? I'm yet to figure that out, but I got 2 of them, and that makes me happy.
Nice.
It's like 2 knives, but it's 2 Grey Death Legion force packs.
It's better than one.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Regent looks great. Like, that's also great.
Does it?
Yeah.
Nice. It does. Yeah.
Okay.
I also, because, on our last episode, I was like, man, I feel like I don't have a lot to contribute on this episode because I don't technically own a physical copy of the Solaris 2004 Force Pack, map pack, scenario pack thing. And I was like, oh man, let me get this. And 2 days later, it shows up from Amazon. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
It's so fast. It comes so fast.
I'm like, wait, you're telling me this is sold on Amazon, like actually from FANPro directly?
Yes. That's wild.
It's wild.
That's been sitting on an Amazon shelf since the day it got like put into inventory.
I don't want to say based on the Discord that we sold more of those. I think
there's been a 5,000% increase in sales on the 2004 Solaris 7 supplement map pack.
FanPro right now is like Googling Catalyst and Solaris, trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah, what happened
that caused this?
What's with this spike in the metrics?
If you don't think I'm playing with one of those maps on Tuesday, you're wrong. Now, depending on what map, that's still up in the air. But I'm definitely playing on one of those maps, and I'm definitely going to have a not fun time. But I have those maps now. So
yeah, they're fun maps. I'm not going to say they're balanced, but they are fun.
No, they are not balanced. But they definitely look fun, and they're definitely different. Like they're definitely an old style, but in like not a bad way.
They're painted. They're like hand painted.
Yeah.
I've done 3D printing for the Steiner Coliseum, but I really want to do 3D print of the factory. I'd love to have a good factory. STL library for that.
The factory looked good. The mountain. My wife looked at the mountain. She was like, "This looks fun." I was like, "Yeah, it does." And then I told her you have to cut it. And Denham shaking his head. No, it's not fun. Tell me why it's not fun.
They're all tunnels, and if you're in the wrong place, it's just like
you're screwed.
Well, it's kind of like a maze, but there's 4 exits on
each side.
We call that a labyrinth, sir.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If the maze is underground, it's technically a labyrinth.
Yeah. I mean, definitely play it. It's a Solaris map 100%. If you want to really push your luck, go play it double blind so that you don't know where the other person is. And that's just, that's an 8-hour game right there.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, especially when your fast jumpy boys can't jump because it's underground.
Oh, yeah.
There's the ceiling.
I'm trying to think what other hobby products. I bought a D36.
Yeah, there you go.
Unfortunately, I have to paint. I have to prime, then paint, then highlight this D36 so I can actually use it. Because for some reason, my brain is like, the future is D36s. We combine 2 D6 into a factorial of said D6 to make D36 with 1 2 and 1 12 on it. And I'm like, why have I gone down this path?
I think the place that the D36 can shine brightest is you have your hit locations on your D36.
It's true, but this does not have that. It has the number, so you really have to go. It's no time efficiency. It's rather than rolling 2 clicky clacks, I roll 1 roly pole.
If you had like one of those pucks that had 4 D36s in there, 2 on the front and 1 for the left and the right side, that would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I bet it would.
Dustin, you know that Megamech, the latest version of Megamech, has an option, a little checkbox now that the little picture they have in the middle of the page of the fluff image.
Yeah,
you can replace that with the hit location table and whatever cluster tables that your mech currently uses. So like a ShadowHawk would have the 2, the 5, and the whatever else it might have.
No, I mean, I think of the D36 hit location die with the actual like CT.
No,
I
understand.
Stuff like that.
I'm just saying that it is a nice thing that they give you that option to have that right there in the middle of your page, so that you don't have to pull out that other sheet every single time.
I don't. I got that. That's in here.
Well, yeah, but not everybody does.
That's what I'm saying. That's who the D36s would be for. The people who don't have the hit location table in their head.
But you have to have 3, one for the center, one for the left, and one for the right.
Yep. So that was my puck would have 4, 2 for the center, so you could roll more than one at a time would be nice. And then 1 for the left and the right. 4 total. Because they would be different. But anyways, D36, any other hobby progress, Josh?
A lot of purchasing, a lot of cleaning, and a lot of... Yeah, that's about it. Okay. I technically have to do repairs to the Greyhound, but that's part of the games played. So I took my freshly assembled Greyhound mech, and what I did was a lot of magnetizing, and I was like, I don't like those magnets, so I just glued it. The glue broke, but the magnets held. Now I got to re-glue it in the position I wanted.
Nice. Yeah. Wait, did we skip Denham? Denham, do you have hobby progress?
We have not skipped him. He's next.
Oh, okay.
Waiting patiently.
Patiently. I have a lot of hobby progress because I spend a lot of my week not doing games.
Okay. All right. So you glued him back. You magnetized him. Then you didn't like it, and then you glued him, and then he came unglued, and then you glued him again.
All right. Now to Denham, because apparently you want to move ahead.
No, we could talk more about you.
No. It's my podcast. We'll talk about who I want to.
So yeah, I obviously didn't give Josh my only copy of the Grey Death Legion box set because if I only had one, it would be mine. So I gave him my extra one. But like so many others who have the Grey Death box set, I have been painting up my own Grey Death Legion, collecting all the mechs from the original books. You know, get the McCall's Rifleman, got the 2 Stingers. I painted. I've got the hero Marauder from the first Kickstarter, Grayson Carlisle's command mech, and I use that contrast gray with a white base and in black stripes to make a really nice, really nice gray camo. And then I was like, I should go buy some decals for that. I forgot that while I was at Adepticon, they had a sheet of the Grey Death decals that I purchased. So when I was flipping through some stuff, I'm like, oh wait, I already bought those. Nice. So it's looking all pretty now. I know I posted a picture of it on the Discord, but for some reason the camera made it like super light. It is much, much darker than that. But I ended up going with a desert base for it because Trelwan isn't very arid planet. So that's what I'm going with. But yeah, so my hobby progress has been Grey Death Legion stuff, and it's looking pretty good.
Oh, okay, so it's darker than this. I went ahead and searched it up. Yeah. Beautiful work. And then while I was searching on the Discord for your picture of I saw your very cursed Jade Falcon t-shirt that says Clan Ghost Bear on the back.
I know, it's so awesome. I thought of our own pizza lawyer when I saw that, so I had to send him a picture and give him a small stroke.
Nice. Painting up the Marauder. Anything else?
Just Grey Death stuff. So I've got the Marauder is completely finished, and then I've got 6 other mechs that are in various stages of progress, but they're all looking fantastic.
Fantastic.
I need to get more decals. I'm going to run out before my company is finished.
Oof.
Yeah, that's it for me for hobby progress.
Are we ready to move on to games played?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have any games played, Dustin?
Oh, I played the cursed game.
The game that shall not be named.
The game that shall not be named.
Tell me about your game.
Did I
pay per the minute, and so I'm going to fill it no matter what.
Let's see. I played as my first army that I picked up was Tau. I played against a Tau player for the first turn. I used my Necrons, and they turn 1 to my Triarch Stalker, which is like a dreadnought thing with a couple extra wounds.
It's a walker.
He's a walker. He got first turn and blew that off the table, and I'm like, oh no, this is why everybody hates Tau, and it's me. I played the objectives. didn't have much of an army left, but I think I went out on the objectives for that game. So just getting used to 10th.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing fancy.
You got more games of Warhammer than I have.
So that's pretty much it. I probably won't be playing any BattleTech this month because I quickly be switching into tournament prep mode. Just make sure all my T's and I's all my I's are crossed and my T's are dotted. And then I will get back to BattleTech, playing some BattleTech. How about y'all?
Yeah, I mean, I've been validating people's lists for your tournament.
Thank you so much for the help.
That kind of counts. I do hope that more people send those lists in before the time limit, because I don't want to spend 3 straight days doing them. So
send them in, folks.
Send them in, please. Send them in.
Wait till the last minute. You heard it here.
Yeah, don't do that.
MTO. I'll give you arbitrary negative points or something. I don't know.
But as far as games played, I have done a couple blind boxes and a couple intro games for new players, because we've had quite a few new players.
Even more. It keeps on
there's
growing.
So many players.
It's incredible. It's truly a golden age. How about you, Josh?
I was gonna say, tell me how these intro games went.
I mean, they're just like literal intro games, as in, here is how you move the mech. Here is how you do this. Now shoot me, and now you're going to want to go over here. It's like the most basic intro games, where it's not about winning and losing.
Did they seem like they were interested afterwards?
One of them walked away with $300 of BattleTech stuff.
Okay, see, this is something that I need to know. Watch out for the guy with all gray plastic next week, but all painted next week.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's basically, oh wow, what stuff is there? Like, here you go. Here's all the box sets. Here's all the things.
Awesome.
And it takes a while to add up $300 in BattleTech. Like, BattleTech is not Warhammer. That's not a model.
It's like 10 force packs or 25 force packs, a rule book and a map pack. Like, I can do the math, separations, but I don't want to. Yeah.
It's like 12. It's like they're probably $30 each, so 12. Yeah.
Dustin's like, I'm checking Josh's math and finding it's pretty acceptable.
Yeah.
It's almost like I can do that when I'm intoxicated.
The local store has those pre-painted Gale Force 9 buildings from Thunderhead, and they are dense and heavy and awesome.
And a great way to spend your money.
Oh yeah, great way to spend your money.
So what mechs did you take to this intro tech game? Because that's what I'm most interested in.
Oh really? No, it was the normal things. I took a Wolverine, and yeah, I mean, it wasn't the beginner box, but we used a lot of the beginner box mech type things. It was mostly mediums with a few lights. I like to bring the Locust just to show them what speed is. I like to bring the Commando to show them
what ammo explosions are.
What ammo explosions are? The shotgun mech, or what do I call it? The Claymore mech. So this side towards enemy, and it fires off, does a lot of damage, but doesn't last very long after that.
And then it dies.
Yep. The Wolverine is one of my favorite go-to mechs, just because it does all the stuff. And, a Battle Master to show the potential of an assault mech. It looks scary, but it is not invincible.
Yeah.
But it has guns pointing out the back, so you can't sneak up on it.
No sneaky.
Yeah, it was a good time. Good times were had by all.
Well, I got I don't want to say high-level game, but it was like tournament practice high-level game. Nice. Against Jeff. This was a rematch against a game last episode. Or was it this episode for that? A previous game. How about that?
There you go.
And in the previous game, I took the War Crow, Carrion Crow, combo Crow, and we blasted some headshots and some crits and made that person feel like, you know what? Taking anything against this level of ATMs is inefficient. So we played again. They were like, let's do a rematch. And I was like, all right. And I took my Grey Knight Greyhound 18 because one of those is the mech and the other one's a Warhammer 40,000 faction. Dustin's laughing his ass off right now.
I'm just laughing because I'm looking at the notes and I see Greyhound and Knight and Grey Knight and Burgundy them together.
It's real hard. You can see where I messed up here.
Oh, I can see it. That's why I'm laughing.
I took a Kintaro 21, the C3I variant, a Raijin 301, also C3I Lincoln, and then a Dragoon 05, the Blessed Order Comstar Redo Dark Age Boogaloo C3I variant.
Nice.
Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Link those up with a Greyhound. You got a triangle of C3I and a Greyhound with TSM and a Claw. And I fought a Stormcrow with the Gauss, and then 4 improved heavy medium lasers, because they really like in that one a Black Lantern with a bunch of machine guns, and then a Hammerhead, and then some elementals. And I was like, okay, this is acceptable. So we roll into this game. The Greyhound was great. It supercharged turn 1 to get more than midway up the field.
Nice.
Turn 1 is putting rear shots on the Stormcrow. I'm like, this feels dirty, but it could never get its crit rolls, but it was constantly in rear arcs. And I was like, this is great, because it was at this moment that I discovered why I love TSM as someone who had never put TSM on an actual tabletop. I'd put it in Megamech, which Megamech Megamech TSM feels different than back alley TSM.
Yeah, you gotta manually turn the heat sinks off in Megamech, and it really teaches you this is the phase that you have to do it. And it's not like, oh, by the way, I turned my heat sinks off last turn. I'm like, no, that's not how that works.
Now, we didn't do any turn and heat sinks off. We were just like, shoot everything. And apparently
get hot.
Apparently, Josh was smart enough when he made this Greyhound variant to make it pretty good. Not super hyper optimized, but all right, you're at 10 heat. You're great. You're the same walk run speed as you are on the sheet, and you just act like normal, but you're twice as strong in melee. I'm like, that's great, Josh. Thanks.
Thanks, past Josh.
Yeah, thanks, past Josh, says future Josh. So it was great. I did 9 points of a punch to a Hammerhead arm, and I was like, oh, that's 9 actual bubbles, not 9 half bubbles. That's 18 half bubbles. And I was like, yeah, I can understand why people like TSM now. And that entire match was C3I plus TSM is good. And I was like, yeah. As my mental health declined from work events, my desire to play Word of Lake increases, and I'm on a good vibe right now, says the Word of Lake player. But it was a great game. I essentially brutalized the Stormcrow until it fell down face first and then was shooting in the rear. My Kintaro died because it can't generate enough of a TMM, but also doesn't really have enough weapons. It's just got 2 ER medium lasers and 2 SRM6s. Even with C3I, it's not really putting out the damage I really need it in a 4v3 mech on mech game. The Raijin was dancing around with the Hammerhead. That's kind of a wet noodle versus a wet noodle fight, because one of them's good at tanking, the other one's terrible at damage. So it was really just Stormcrow versus Greyhound, and then the Dragoons over there. Oh, there was a Dasher involved, but man, that Dasher went behind the Dragoon. But the Dragoon is really just a rifleman with ferrolamellar armor and seeds of fire. So guess what? Arm flip. Bada bing, bada boom. The Dragoon falls down because it took 20 damage from 6 heavy small lasers.
Oh, the H.
Yeah. Is there any other Dasher that's ever been ran?
Yes, there are.
Yeah,
you Dasher, either take
the Dasher P.
You either take the Shiva's Dasher or you take the heavy small Dasher.
It's true.
But anyways, you're not wrong. Anyways, the Dasher falls down. I hit the Dasher with the plasma rifle and the LB-10. I failed to kill anything, but I take an arm off. It falls and destroys the rest of its right torso or left torso, whatever, and blows up the engine. I'm like, great. Dasher's down, the Dragoon's fallen, but one of those is a much better trade than the other. The Kintaro dies. I hit the Black Lantern 3 times in the head in the same shot phase, and I'm like, I swear statistics are not a lie, and I promise these dice are not weighted. But Denham's like,
I don't know. You lent those to someone else, and they also had an inordinate amount of headshots. So
when I play Warhammer with these dice, they're like, "No, you only get 2s and 3s." And when I play BattleTech, they're like, "Yeah, we're made for this." Anyone is welcome to use my dice, by the way. I'm not like, I'm not, running to the toilet to flush these down the drain. Like a certain someone in a recent podcast, Warhammer tournament. But anyways, yeah, so that was a great game. Like I said, I didn't really touch the Hammerhead. The Stormcrow was, unconscious on the ground, and the Black Lantern was dead on that turn. So we called it. The problem was we were playing a tournament mission for your tournament, Dustin, and neither of us were actually doing the objective.
Oh, still a murder fest.
We were like, this objective is great, but not for a pickup game on a work night in a weekday. Yeah, we were like, can we just throw mechs at each other? And we were like, yes, please. That's all I'm mentally able to do right now. So we were like, we fought the game and like did the mech versus mech to see how we were like our mechs felt. And then we kind of like looked like, okay, would I change what I did for the objective? And we're like, for this, I would, and that would change the game, please. So it was a great practice game for the tournament as well as great practice game for seeing what worked and what didn't work.
Nice.
That was my games played. I also played a whole bunch of board games with my wife and our mutual friends that came over, and we played Steamed Up, the dim sum board game. And
dim sum board game. Nice.
Yeah, no, it's a dim sum board game. It's like literally like steamers, and you have to like get tokens and pick dim sum out of this. Is, I swear,
That's
not
so
sponsored. It's not sponsored by a dim sum board game person. But I was like, hey guys, I do actually play other board games besides BattleTech. I do actually a lot.
Right.
So this week was Steamed Up and some Carcassonne, because apparently I like to build mega castles, which are just like giant phallic lines of castles, and my wife likes to build mini, like two tiles worth of hexes, and she always wins. And I'm like, fine, I'm building mini micro castles. So that's what I'm angry about. But I almost won this time, guys. That's all I'm going to say. And that's my games played.
Nice.
Do we have any fan mail this week or upcoming events?
Besides the obvious.
We have Games Castle Alpha Strike Tournament in South Carolina, the Carolina to the south in Greenville. And
Lower Carolina
on the 20th of August. We have NashCon starting on the 17th, and then a whole bunch of BattleTech going on that. So by the time this comes out, you got a week. So it's time to get those lists submitted, folks.
Mm-hmm.
You heard
Nova
me, Carbon.
coming up too. Got Nova coming up in August, right?
Yeah, we got Nova coming up.
We're in
That'll
August.
be end of August, early September. And Death Ray Designs putting that on. I think they just released their semi-final mission pack.
Yeah, Northern Assault.
Yeah, they have like 30 something people signed up for that.
It's bigger this year.
Yep.
I'll be able to go to a convention one day.
One day.
NashCon or Nova, probably, because they're closer.
We have your tournament, Dustin, on the 26th.
Coming up soon.
Oh, yeah. That's like 20 days.
Yep. Final prep time.
All right. And I think it's time to take a short break, and then we'll get into our main subject, which is why we play BattleTech when it hates us so much.
Why do we?
Alrighty, I'm Mr. Kazarok here with the OSHA doing a routine mech bay inspection. Now, so far, it looks like all your paperwork is in order, but I'm going to need to see your... Sweet Blake Almighty, is that an exposed coolant lake in the middle of the mech bay? Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's easier to just hit the drain plug when we're coming in, you know? Oh, no. At the minimum, you need 4-foot railing surrounding it, but... Sweet Terra's titties. Is that man firing that medium laser in the bay itself? He's doing a low power calibration and checking the alignment against the barn door of a wall over there. Oh, Blake preserve me. I'm 3 days away from retirement.
Hey, boss, I finished stacking those Inferno SRNs just like you asked. I put them next to the incendiary AC bins under the reactor exhausts. You know, keep them warm for when we need them.
So yeah, I'm just gonna slide this pile of coolant-soaked sea bills over to you and rethink my life choices. Sound good? Oh, get me the ROM. The heavy ROM. All right, we are back, and we're talking about, quote, gambling with your feelings are attacks and headshots with Battletech. Maybe not.
We'll find out.
Yeah, because we all have different opinions.
So we're talking about negative play experiences, which are really anytime anyone feels bad about playing, and like not in a good way, like, oh, I'm playing and I get to turn this around, or no, I just feel bad and there's not really a way I can feel good about it because the game is directly making me feel bad.
Now, before we get too deep into this, Josh, I do want to point out I will be the voice of not the company man, because, you know, I'm not, but I will, the voice of reason. If Battletech was a bad game, it wouldn't have survived 40 years. So we're not trying to say...
But no, you're right. Like, so Battletech isn't a bad game at its core, but it does have things that make it a not great experience. Like, I can come away with playing Battletech and not like be happier for playing Battletech at its core.
I can't. I tried really hard. Can't do it.
That's good for you. I wish I could.
Maybe I've gotten my butt kicked before. I can't remember if it was negative player experiences that we're going to talk about that. Maybe.
And I don't think we're talking about that here. We're not talking about did you win or lose. No, I mean, that's a whole different thing, because I can lose a game and still have a great time. But this is not that. This is not what we're talking about.
No. Because I can lose and have a lot of fun, which means I can do everything that I wanted to do, and everything that I did was rewarding for me, whether it be like an emotional reward or like a game mechanic reward.
And on the flip side, you know, I can win in Battletech and feel bad about it just because.
Oh, yeah. That's almost easier than losing.
So, yeah, let's talk about that.
So, like I said, if Battletech was a bad game, it wouldn't have survived for 40 years. Is that, like, in spite of itself? Like, Battletech wants... I don't know. I don't want to do the should have gone through at least a second major revision in some of that time.
I mean, it did go through some revisions, but... My point is that I think some of these things that we're going to be like, oh, well, this is Battletech is good despite this. And I really think that it's good because of some of these things, but not for the reason that you'd think. But we'll get into those. We'll get into them. Like, there are definitely some things that I've seen in Battletech where that was a horrible experience, but those have been errated out. And so we could talk about that too. I don't know if you want me to just...
Yeah, no, go for it.
The main one, the one that popped to my head first, was partial cover pre-2004. It was a mechanism that you know, you want partial cover to be helpful, to be beneficial to you. And when you get into partial cover and you realize that, oh, that was the worst thing that could have ever happened, and I have died because I took partial cover, that is a negative play experience to me. And that broke the game. But they realized that and they fixed that because it actually did break the game.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of negative play experience, I'm thinking of like, I'm rolling dice on the table, something happens, I'm like, you know what? This wasn't actually worth coming out this day. Like, whether it be a mechanic or just like what happens, and it's completely out of my control. Like, there's nothing I can do to mitigate or change the outcome of something, whether it be a rule or a dice roll. What about you, for Dustin? Or is there anything that, like, have you ever felt like a day when you're playing Battletech is like, yeah, I came out worse, feeling worse than when I went in?
It's never been because of the game. I will say
right?
that
Yeah, I was going to say that. There have been people that I've played that I felt that way, but not the game itself.
All right. Well, me and you are looking at two different rule books then.
Yeah, it seems like it, but when I think about it, it's not the rules. I'm not saying it's perfect. I've never said that it's perfect.
Yeah, same.
But let's start going down some of these, because some of them are really eye-opening.
So let's talk about some that are built into the games, like the basic ones. Now, these are more like intrinsic to Battletech as a whole. Like, these are core functionality for tabletop classic Battletech.
You're going to encounter these regardless of the equipment you bring to the table.
Exactly.
Yes.
First off, Battletech is kind of designed around a 50-50 chance. Like, as a whole, Gunnery 4, like, you're not starting out with a perfect every time you roll is a hit. No, you're starting out at a 4 on a 2d6, which is not a guaranteed hit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it only gets worse from there.
It only gets
That's
worse
right.
from there. Like, there's not a lot, at least in intro, even to standard tech, that you can do to really make that better. It's like, no. Average of you walking, an opponent, and the range, it's like, yeah, you're looking at 50% or less on average. Like, the average shot is less than 50%. And I'm like, that's kind of a negative player experience to start with.
Yeah, I think that comes from its old simulation style roots. A lot of shells go down range. Very few of them connect.
Yep. You're just pouring down. It's quantity over quality. Back in the old days, though, it was, we didn't have battle value, so it was, it's an 8-on-8 fight, and with an 8-on-8 fight, even rolling 9s and 10s, some things are going to hit, and that's where the action happens on those. But when you've got fewer and fewer mechs, I agree, you do have to bump that gunnery down. You want to have some 3s in there just to counteract that, because a 1 number shift, like even going from a 10 to a 9, is actually a really big percentage in hit chance.
It's hard when the core of the game is based on you roughly missing. Like, the default is the game wants me to miss, and that is when it's most balanced. It's wanting me to, like, all right, out of every, let's say, roughly 3 turns, 2 of them are me missing the majority of my shots. And then that third turn is when I hit and do the damage. I'm like, cool. Could we just get rid of those 2 turns where I miss?
But we can't, because on those 2 turns that you missed, I might be hitting you.
That's true. So it's the game as a whole is designed around one player having a negative play experience and the other player having a positive experience.
I think it was designed around having a lot more units so that it evened out.
One unit per turn is having a positive play experience, and the other 3 in your lance are having negative experiences.
Yes.
And all you remember is the positive 1 unit.
That's what I remember.
That has always been like a negative play experience. And I feel like they tried to fix it when they introduced clan. It's like, oh, veteran gunnery and piloting skills are kind of the norm. So like that lowers it to, on average, you're hitting more. A 7 is actually relatively easy on 2d6.
But then if you follow that logic, like now we've got pulse lasers with targeting computers and all those things. Well, but that's So is it more fun when you hit every single turn with every single weapon, even if you're jumping and at long range?
My light mechs say no.
That's true.
Yeah.
The negative play experience has been shifted. The whole package has moved.
Light mechs, because of how easy it is to hit, are less fun to play.
Mm-hmm. You gotta be so cagey with your lights when there's tacks and targeting computers and pulses on the table.
So it's a give or take. You either don't use light mechs and everyone has a little bit more fun because it's easier to get through the armor, or light mechs are more functional and they can actually do a job, but your heavies are missing more. And armor seems to be more important because you don't get hit as often.
But that seems to be like a core function of the game. Like the 2-hit number is constantly like, okay, on whether it be a 50% or less or more, some things are more viable than others.
But I think that a 50-50 chance of something happening in general is a pretty consistent theme throughout the game. And I think it was designed with that in mind. And it's, they've done well in some ways and not so well in other ways. But I think in general that is a good design.
Okay. This is a rule that completely just was like, your person rolled better dice than you, and the statistics said you don't get to have fun tonight. And the first one that I could think of was through armor criticals. And I know I'm sitting with 2 people that are like, my bread and butter is through armor criticals. How dare you?
I like them for different reasons than Dustin, but I I think tacks are fun.
Yeah. Now, this is the old Snake Eyes. So this is rolling 2 on 2d6. This is the 1 in 36 chance, or roughly 3% of all shots are going to be a through armor crit.
All location rolls.
On location rolls, yeah. So floating crits is the optional rule, which kind of mitigates this, but I feel like doesn't really mitigate it as a whole.
Oh, yeah. I think floating crits are sometimes way more dangerous than standard. Way more dangerous.
Yeah.
So, like, then you roll your 2 on 2d6, and you roll again for a new location, and boom, bada bing. That's like, oh, now that location gets the crit, and then you roll to see if you're 8 up and your critical determining hits table stuff. And I'm like, it's great, but I still probably got a crit. Like 40% chance of 3%. So I'm talking about roughly less than 1.5% of the time I'm getting a crit roll, just no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's just say what it is.
Well, when you tack, you do still have to roll for a chance to crit. So your 3% turns into roughly 1.5% of actually getting the juicy bits on the inside, so to speak. But yeah, if you do play it the usual way, it's going to go into torso locations. Front arc is center torso, and left and right arcs are left and right torso, respectively. But yeah, it's a pretty slim chance, but I can understand why it's a negative player experience. So maybe we should go over real quick what we think through armor crits take away from the game. And I can go first. I think the through armor crit can take potential away from the game. Like, we all have had the fresh mech that gets tacked, and now you've got some engine hits or a gyro hit or multiple. Or if you're especially incredibly unlucky, you can just scoop the whole engine, get 3 engine hits, and just be out a pristine, fresh mech. And you see all the potential, all the turns that mech would have been doing work, and it was kind of taken away from you, stolen from you. So I do empathize. It's rough, especially when the mech is fresh.
I mean, yes, that is a detractor for sure. But what it adds is story. Like, it adds personality to the match. So it's not, and I guess that's I don't always come to Battletech thinking of it like a tournament where things have to be fair and balanced and everyone has to have an equal chance. If you play it narratively, and even if you're doing missions at the table for pickup games, and you don't treat each game as an entity, it makes for some really good stories of that one mech, that really powerful mech that you were, you were counting on. It was the linchpin of your whole operation, and one lucky shot takes it out. Yeah, it can be a bad experience unless you make it part of your internal story, and that way it's bad luck, but it's a cool event that happened. And how did I then rally my forces after that and either pull a win out of that, or I fought really hard, but eventually that was the thing that caused me to lose that mission. But it's still part of the story, which doesn't work for tournaments, but does for the way that I tend to play it.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Josh?
I mean, I'm more into the pickup game, just like think about that day or that week, like, oh boy, these are the new models I got, and I'm really excited to throw them on the table. I don't really have like a narrative or like historical attachment to them, and I'm just like, cool, let's see how they do. And I want to play like Battletech as its purest board game style, so I don't really have any attachment to any specific mech. But like, there are times when the biggest mech I have, like turn 1 or turn 2, like I see memes about this in the general Battletech public of the tech, like, oh, you had one LB10 or LB2 pellet hit, and you paid for all the armor and you didn't get to use the armor, which is the problem. And it hits, and it gets like 2 engine hits, or at worse, it hits a gyro, and cool, every PSR you take is +3. Every time you take 20 damage, it's +3. And I'm like, that's awful. Like, there is it's crippling. Like, I would rather almost just take that mech out and not think about it anymore. Like, yeah, he forced withdrawals, and do I get any bonus for withdrawing him? No, it's just
No.
Yeah, exactly. Like the tack, like, and even if you float that, I'm like, okay, well, it gets a leg. Oh, great. I hip or I get an arm. It's like, oh, there's a primary weapon. Or worst case, it's a torso or something with an ammo. It's like most of the time it'll hit a torso location. I'll take out an engine or gyro. I'm like, great. So what it would have been originally. So floating didn't really help. Thank you. So no, I'm not one that really like. I don't want to accept that the tack is intrinsic to enjoying Battletech.
Yeah, well, they're cinematic, and once I keep going back to it, but if you take larger amounts of units in a classic game, so 8 or 12 per side, the tacks are what speed up the game a lot. Like it's pretty essential to getting a game done in a quicker amount of time, because again, it's the numbers of units that you're playing with, and losing one mech isn't defeat because of that one mech. Especially since you have 11 more mechs to shoot at your opponent's team, and you might do the same as well, because it's a numbers game. It's what is the percentage to do that? How many dice you're rolling? The more dice you're rolling, the better. And the more mechs you have, the more dice you're rolling. It's just that people aren't used to playing. When's the last time you guys played a classic with more than 8 units per side as a regular game? Like, it just doesn't happen anymore.
I think that was like a year ago, to be honest.
Tax do add a balance. It's, I feel like how much rock, paper, scissors you want in your war game is like a whole separate conversation, but it does punish big expensive units for being brought. So tax do add that to the game. You can avoid the punch of attack by bringing more and less expensive units. So it's not like there's nothing you can do about tax, which make them feel a tiny bit less bad, I guess, in a way, because it's not something totally unavoidable in the game. You can build around it a little bit.
Yeah, hardened armor for one.
Yes,
just ruins that whole average.
Mm-hmm.
Statistics for paying armor are not equal to the statistics for paying for tax. Like, armor, I can pay for armor all day, and the Saint LB10 pellet will take out an engine. Like, it's not even one pellet will take out one slot. One pellet could take out 3 slots, and I don't know how. I mean, I know how it bounces around like some magic marble that, by the grace of Blake, is designed to kill mechs.
I mean, it can't with hardened armor because you can't roll a 12. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean.
The simulation part of this game is built in with the tack. I mean, was it the Arizona that was sunk with basically one bomb in Pearl Harbor?
I was about to Google Sarna, Arizona, Pearl Harbor. I was like, wait a second. That's not Battletech. That's real life. It
is real life. But I think the simulation roots of the game are built into that. Ammo does cook off. Occasionally a recoilless rifle takes out an Abrams in Afghanistan. So I think the through armor crit kind of.
I mean, everyone has their magazine explosion, whether we like it or not.
I mean, even those have been tried to been mitigated with case and then case 2.
Mm-hmm.
So with the advent of the pulse laser and the targeting computer, they understand that those things do tend to happen more because you're hitting more and you've got fewer units. So in order to protect them, you've got your case 2. You can armor engine slots. I don't know if that's TAC Ops, right?
Might be. I'm not sure.
Armoring your own. Yeah. Because in one of the rules books that has
armored
rules for armoring components. But yeah, I mean, tax were definitely built into the game. I think with the advent of smaller unit engagements, it shows up as more of a problem. It has skewed that to more of the, well, that just ruined like this. Like, there's no point in me finishing this game because I just lost half of my BV with one shot right at the beginning of the game at 28 hexes away.
I like to power through those games. Yeah. Cause you might get a headshot. So headshots, if we want to move on to headshots, are kind of a similar thing. Same percent chance. except the result is a little different. Whereas attack, you roll the snake eyes on the location, you get a chance for crit. A headshot's a headshot. Your pilot takes damage
automatically. Like there's no, that is that 3% chance of hurting your pilot.
I think this passes the Denham cinematic test. Very cinematic. There's a curve to this one. You're on, you need to roll 3 up, 5 up, 7 up, 11 up to keep your pilot awake after taking a headshot. So that doesn't feel as punishing. If you take 10 damage to the head, then you're looking for a crit. You might lose your cockpit. That's a similar situation as the through armor crit, or you might just lose your head altogether. So how is this similar and dissimilar to the through armor crit as far as negative player experience goes?
I mean, I feel like I've mentioned the like LB10, and really it's any weapon. Like any weapon can hit the head. Any weapon can do a through armor crit. The problem is damage is irrelevant for either of these. Like a single hit to the head versus an 8 damage hit to the head does 1 point of damage.
I would disagree a little bit. I think damage is more relevant for headshots.
I mean, yes, because
you
you can
might
take
lose
multiple through armor crits, and it's like, okay, 1 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage, and but you take 3 damage to the head, and it's an automatic head hit. Like you don't roll a crit to see if you do anything. You roll to a hit to the pilot no matter what, and you roll consciousness associated with it. So that is your opponent rolled something, and depending on how good they roll, you have to roll good. I'm like, great. But then it's compounding, like, okay, you have to roll 3. That's easy. 5, not as easy. 7. Now you're at the 50-50 mark. And by that third head hit is when I'm like, that's when I start seeing people either pass or fail most of the time.
Most of the time. And that's when it starts becoming like, who's luckier than who? Who hasn't had a Mechwarrior go night on the first headshot though?
Oh yeah,
I know I have.
And I had one game recently where I gave somebody 5 pilot hits in one turn, and they made every single one of them.
Whoa!
Yes,
incredible.
My whole point between headshots and tacks are that I hear the table cheering when the double 6 is rolled way more often than the double 1. Like
really?
People get excited about headshots. It's an exciting moment. Yeah, people
that are not Dustin. I love those tacks. I see those snake eyes. I'm like, ooh, baby, gonna get some goodies.
But something about hitting the head of the mech and it gets people at the table excited. Maybe not the person who's getting hit in the head sometimes, but most of the time they're like, wow, that was pretty amazing.
I'll agree. Yeah, I feel like there's a better feelings curve to the headshots as opposed to the tacks. I'll definitely give it that much.
Tacks have a more general disfavorable feeling. Yes. Yeah. Like I think they're important, but I think that they're more what's this? Would we say NPEs, the negative play experience?
Negative player experience. Yeah.
Yeah. You get more of that with the attack than you do with the headshot, in my opinion. 2 engine hits at the beginning of a game is bad, especially for intro tech type things where some of them only have 10 heat sinks. Yeah. So if you take 2 engine hits at the beginning, there's nothing you can do. You walk until you shut down, and then when you cool off again,
you shut down, which is true.
We got to power down to cool off.
Yeah.
So I think the consensus is that we like headshots a little more than we like tacks.
I don't want to say I like them more, but I put them into the
hate them less. Yeah.
I hate them less. My problem is the headshot. Like there are strategies around exploiting both of these, and you Dustin are the enjoyer of both these. Like just put as many null damage, non-applicable damage, shots, and just hope to get lucky.
Fish for it.
I'm a gambling man for the negative play experience.
It just makes the meat between my ears release the chemicals.
In a real world experience, shooting, a pistol at a tank doesn't work.
But if you shoot 1,000 pistols at a tank, then one of those shots might.
And you said you shoot 1,000 pistols, and I'm seeing them. The pistols are being fired out of the guns. 1,000 pistols fired at a tank.
All right, you're too tired, Dustin.
Oh.
I don't want to get into the how would we fix this.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, but
We're not there yet.
yeah, they are a part of the game that makes it a simulation, but also a war game. All right.
Maisel, December 6th, 2013, on the Board Game Battletech forums, said, "To me, the randomness of the game is what makes it fun. Remove too much randomness, and you might as well just play a game of chess." We'll reference that later. Let's move on, perhaps, to initiative, which can turn itself into another negative play experience. I know that I feel like I have good initiative dice. So I have definitely played games where I lost initiative on the first turn and then won it for the next 8 turns. And that makes me feel sorry for the person on the receiving end of that. So
the problem is like initiative dice, the dice don't care if you won the last one.
Your odds are the same every time.
And that's the thing about the initiative is, it is literally, if you're playing 1v1, it is the most fair thing in the entire game.
And it's the most unfair because of it.
It really is. It's one roll to rule them all. I know there's really popular replacements for initiative. We got initiative decks. Other war games use chits and bags. I feel like this is the most easily repairable negative player experience, so we can
see, like, I don't think that the initiative roll needs to be fixed. Like, it's just it is the even thing. What I might agree needs some work, though, is like what they call front loading initiative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the when you've got unbalanced forces, how that works out. That I could see might need some work, possibly. But as far as even numbers of units, I think the initiative rolls are just fine. Yes, sometimes you lose every single roll, and sometimes that means that you lose the game. But other times, like I played with some of our Discord listeners, and I won initiative 9 turns in a row, and I still lost the game. Not because I'm a bad player, but because he played super well, even with losing initiative. There are still tactics that you can do when you lose initiative to make it not quite as bad.
No.
Okay.
But it is definitely fighting uphill. And you're like,
oh yeah. And then when you win, it's an even greater endorphins release. and if you lose, at least you've got like the reason why. You know, I played well, but I lost initiative, and it was an exciting battle, but I just couldn't overcome that, that one thing. So it's your attitude, how you look at the game at the end. I can see losing initiative every single turn can get very frustrating, though. I can absolutely understand that, where it just doesn't seem fair. Although, again, it is the most fair thing in the game. Like it is. It's just.
Would it be more fair if it was this turn I win, next turn you win, then we alternate?
No, that'd be horrible. I would hate that.
It would be totally fair, but it'd be less exciting.
Yeah.
Too predictable, not fun.
Yeah, the fix, I think, to that is to just play more games. Like the odds are going to even out as you play more games.
I like
the perfect balance is assaults go first, then heavies, then mediums, then lights. And we roll based on
push
tonnage.
Lights back, then lights can go last and then first, so they get to move twice.
Exactly.
That's right. They did figure it out. I did
actually enjoy how HBS did their initiative.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It was really
like
nice.
That was the problem. We tasted what. Oh man, that's actually good. Like my light mech specialist can go last and has lower chance of getting shots.
When
lights were relevant for most of the game.
Yeah, when you end that turn in the rear arc of the Atlas, and you get to shoot, and then you get to shoot again, and then move. When you took that one specialist thing that would let you reverse the order of shooting and moving. So
it was good.
Yeah. All right, initiative. Just play with the initiative deck. That's my solution.
Even that, like it doesn't matter, because some days you're going to lose every single one. Some days you're going to win every single one. I agree, it's frustrating.
It's frustrating,
except for when it's not.
So we started with tax. Those are the worst. Headshots, we hate them less. Initiative, losing it every turn in a row. I hate that less than those other two. How about you guys?
I have no problems with the initiative.
Okay. All right.
I have a problem with the unbalanced units, like when you've got If you have 10 guys on one side and 6 guys on another, like when do they go? I know what the rule book says, and I play it that way. I don't think it's the most. Yeah, I think that causes more frustration for some people.
Where you move your doubles first and then you go to your singles later, as opposed to the other way around. Yeah, it makes the winning better and the losing worse.
Yes.
Doing unequal movement that way. So as far as negative player experiences that people hate, I think we're going to go up in hatred here with the T-Simp cannon.
Who here has used a T-Simp against
There's an
opponent?
infamous, I think there's a game that lives in infamy. And Josh, do you want to talk about it?
It wasn't me.
I thought I brought something with T-Simp.
No, at least not against me.
Oh, my Poseidon has a T-Simp, and I've used that and have used it too. T-Simps are weird, man.
I refuse to use T-Simps because of what it can do. I also don't like them like in principle, but I think that's because of what they can do.
My problem with the T-Simp really is the fact that anytime I fire it, I get the like the tier 1 effects of it.
+1 to hit. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I've maybe it wasn't you. I've T-Simped somebody and shut their mech down, and I'm just like, oh, that's rough. That's real rough.
It may have been Kurt, because I did hear about this.
So T-Simp is a product of essentially the Dark Age, which is the tight stream electromagnetic pulse weapon. And essentially, you fire it, and it's almost like a PBC, except it does no damage except on an 8 up, it shuts down your mech. So from the hit to the end of next turn, you are shut down.
It's brutal.
That's brutal, which means you don't get 1 nor 2 physical attack phases. You don't get a single movement phase or weapon attack phase, which means you're
immobile.
You are immobile. You are -4.
-4 to hit. Pretty rough.
Which is worse than, like, I think heat weapon. Heat weapons are like, they do the same thing. You can get shut down by a heat weapon, but it is it's not an either or. Like, it's not just okay, I'm going to roll this. If I get an 8, you shut down, which is what a T-Simp does.
Yeah.
And it's just like Dark Age, right? It just, so many Dark Age things came out that are just wrong.
It seems to me that the things that have binaries, especially when they're really harsh binaries, the through armor crit either crits or it doesn't. And sometimes it crits worse. The headshots, there's like more of a slope. There's more of a bell curve of things that can happen. T-Simp, less options. It's just, if you hit with it and then you roll your 8 up, it's rough. And maybe that makes it more hated. And the punishment is severe. For a shutdown mech. The T-Simp is 488 battle value. That's how much you pay for that. You strap a stinger onto the side of your mech and you take a T-Simp.
I'll take a T-Simp over a stinger any day.
Yeah. So the famous or infamous Clan ERPPC is only 412 battle value. Clan Large Pulse Laser, a deal at 265 battle value.
Yeah, and on most mechs, a Clan ERPPC can just ruin your day with a 3% chance.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to shoot it every turn. Whereas a T-Simp is still, you can only fire it every other turn.
It's like a 45% chance of ruining your day.
Well, no, that only shuts you down. That doesn't mean an insta-kill, whereas a Clan ERPPC to the head is an insta-kill on most mechs.
I feel like getting shut down is kind of... It's not an insta-kill. Well, your opponent does have to waste the fire to kill the mech. So it's not quite a head cap, but it's still...
In a 1v1, I understand, but if you're doing lance on lance or bigger, then it's not as important. Or it's not as instant death. How about that?
Sure. So... T-Simp, negative player experience, kind of, it can take some work away from you, I guess.
It's the fact of, this is a unit I took, and for X percentage of the turns will play that night or evening or whatever, unit might as well not exist. In fact, it's almost dead weight. It got hit by the T-Simp, you rolled well, and it shut down for a turn. I'm like, great.
Definitely don't like the idea of wasting your battle value. That's what I'm getting.
I can calculate how many turns of Battletech I get per month, how many I get per year, and the number of turns, not even games, turns that I get that I'm not doing anything make me frustrated that I'm like, I have to drive and like, okay, time per driving, time per planning list, time per painting models, buying models, and then putting it on the table to get either a tack, headshot, or T-Simp, or lose initiative. And like, great, I might as well have not taken that at all. Like, that was useless. And that might be the millennial, like, wargamer in me.
I wasn't going to say anything.
That might be
but
the
if you're opening that up.
I will crack that can of millennial wargamer open. It's like, bro, I have a job. Which I hate to say I've quoted that before, but like I have leaned across the table and was like, bro, I get X nights a month to play, and if you are doing
do this to me?
If you're gonna do semi-guided on a level 3 hill in the back of your map with one spotter, I will just pick up and leave, and I don't even care about losing. That's not what I could play this game for. I don't care about losing. I care about having fun. And I can lose while having fun. But if you're just the one rolling, I'm not rolling dice. If I'm walking and that's it, then that's not me rolling dice. Then I will leave.
You're what's her face from The Matrix. You're like, not like this.
Yeah.
I think the sheer amount of numbers of games that I've played. I mean, my number of games has definitely exceeded your number of turns for sure. Like by a lot. I think that does help a lot. Because I've seen the curves even out because of that. I've seen it happen so much both directions that I'm like, oh well, if that's what happened to me this game, I know that that's not going to happen to me some other game because the odds say it won't. So yeah, I think number of games is a big contributor to this.
That's true.
Oh, I see your frustration, Josh. I see your frustration.
Oh, yeah. We hear you. I
acknowledge. Yeah, I acknowledge your feelings.
All right. As this evening's sleepiest podcast co-host, I'm going to prod us forward to cover Narcs and Haywire pods. You're going to have to tell me about these. I have not used the Narc Haywire pod combo.
These aren't as bad because these just invalidate BV spent, essentially.
Okay.
Narc, especially, like, okay, I'm shooting something at you. I have to get close. I have to shoot at you, which is roughly what T-Simp does. And then I get bonuses for my shoot to hit rolls, whether it be, cluster or,
It doesn't matter. It's just a flat -1 to hit that target once they're haywired.
Exactly. I can do the kind of the SBA thing of like, okay, you're obscured, you're out of line of sight. I can still hit you. It's essentially a spotter, a free spotter, or an Artemis. Like those are the two things. If I upgrade that to Einarch, I can use the different types of pods. Battletech manual even allows Haywire, which is cool. I'm throwing not ECM, I'm throwing mech specific ECM, which means you're +1 to hit with all your shots. Now, if I throw that onto something that doesn't have hands or has bad hands, you're just stuck with +1. So if you're
poor Jenners and Locusts out there,
exactly, things that don't have good hand actuators, while there is the ability to brush these Einarch pods off, and we touch on this on the special ammunition episode.
Right.
Like, if you don't have the ability, cool, that's 2 10-ups or whatever to brush those off, and then there's an equal chance to hit your head. So
don't slap yourself.
Exactly. So I'm like, I've hit you with that. It's now great. You might have paid for a 3-4. You're actually a 4-4. So you have, in total, your list is 12% more expensive than it is.
I mean, it's just another bring ECM. Just bring your own ECM, and then you negate that. Just keep that mech in the bubble.
Is this kind of a potential for a negative player experience, or is this an observed anecdotal negative player experience for you or somebody else that you've been playing with?
I feel like this is one that I regularly bring. I regularly pack Einarch pods, and I'm like, I'm going to take a Haywire, and if they bring anything weird, that I'm not prepared to, or I feel like it's them bringing a negative play experience to me, I will throw a Haywire pod on them. It's like, cool, you try to screw me over, I'll screw you over for real quick.
Just going to put ECM on you.
So that sounds kind of fun, though.
It does.
I like Einarchs. I like that toolbox for like a special forces Raven type mech, operating behind enemy lines, whatever. But again, I understand that's me flipping right back to narrative play, how it would work in a tournament. I don't know. That's not how I think about games that often. But speaking of ECM, that does lead me to one where I do have had specific bad feels in gameplay, and that's because I used to be a C3, like I used to be very interested in C3 because it just sounded so cool, and the DC has so many C3 mechs, and I used to spend a lot of time building not only C3 lances but C3 companies, and then one of the first times I ever played against somebody who also used it a lot and bought ECM, and suddenly it was just worthless.
All broken.
They had a fast mech with ECM. They went right around the guy with the masters. The TMM was too high, and my entire network was shut down for the whole game. And that felt bad because if you're not using the ECCM rules, that's it. There's no, like, your C3 has been countered. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing you can do about it aside from eventually take out that super fast mech who you just can't shoot.
Yeah.
And while you're trying to shoot him, everyone else is destroying your lance because it is under battle valued because you spent so much on the C3. So yeah. I've got some pent up, some underlying bad feels about this.
I feel like the way ECM turns itself into, especially with ECM and C3I and C3, like you're talking about, it turns itself into a negative player experience, because we definitely talked about this plenty on our ECM episode, if you've listened to that. But I think the way that it becomes a negative player experience is the rock, paper, scissors of it. We want some rock, paper, scissors in our war games, but not too much of it. Like,
right.
Advanced
soft
wars,
counters are great. Hard counters are bad feels.
Yeah.
And it's just such a hard counter. It just locks it all down. And it's a negative player experience.
Yeah. There's no way to counter the counter. So like if it comes to the point where, everybody brings at least one mech with this relatively cheap and light piece of equipment that just negates your whole strategy every time.
The rock to your scissors.
But the scissors are like super expensive, multi-million-dollar scissors, and the rocks are just, found out in your garden.
Yes.
Everyone took rocks before they knew what rocks were good for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I want to take C3I like in its full, like what it was meant to be more.
You have to have the ECCM rules then.
Exactly.
So at least they have the ECCM rules for that situation. But if you're not using them, it's just bad feels. Agreed. All right, what's next?
We got artillery. We also covered artillery in our artillery episode. And we got some feedback. We got some feedback from players who were definitely saying that artillery can be oppressive. If you got a tag artillery wombo combo, it's picking units up off the table. I think this falls into that hard counter category again, especially for battle armor. It's just such a hard counter. There's not a soft counter, like you said. You just drop the artillery on the battle armor and you just pick up all the battle armor. So you don't get to do that part of the game where you're like, ooh, which trooper? Ooh, are you going to get lucky and kill the troopers, or am I going to get lucky and spread the damage all around?
Yeah,
it's just like
rolls.
Yeah, you killed them all. Thanks. I'll just take them off the table. All right. I drove out here for this. Thanks a lot. And then you've got copperheads, AC-20 delivery.
It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno. Because someone runs ahead and it's like, oh boy, I got no weapons, a high TMM, and I got nothing to lose and everything to prove. And they put one tag in that copperhead round that costs like nothing in comparison. Just like, all right, that's 20 damage to a leg with 18 points of armor or whatever. Oh boy, crit. Oh boy, hip. You're down on the ground. It's like, great, next one coming in. CT rear. It's like, yeah, no, these aren't. I don't want to say these aren't fun because everyone enjoys doing them, but it's like when they happen, it's rough.
I think artillery, as opposed to like C3, I think the more people use artillery and the more like everybody gets to know the rules, I think it's less bad feels. I mean, I still agree the battle armor just disappearing. I've been on the receiving end and I've been on the delivery end. I felt bad when I did it to someone and I didn't like it when they did it to me. And that's my definition of an NPE.
Yeah, negative player experience.
I don't have fun doing it or getting it done to me.
Yeah,
it's a lose-lose.
Why are we doing this? It hurts me. It hurts you. I don't like it when I do it to you. I definitely don't like it when you do it to me.
Artillery in general, I have no problems with, but deleting battle armor instantly with no,
that's rough.
You don't get a 5-up save. It's just gone.
Okay, we've got on the list here special pilot abilities and quirks.
Oh,
who put this on here? What?
I'm going to go with me. I probably put this on here because technically me and Denham's last game was completely wrapped around the quirks that we got. And we chose those, or I should say, we used the special pilot abilities based on the cards in our blind boxes. So these are pre-selected by Catalyst for flavor reasons and lore and narrative.
Right.
And
so I had an archer and I had both oblique attacker and sandblaster. Like it was just until I ran out of ammo, which I totally ran out of ammo. Until then, I just
God.
Yep, hid behind a level 3 where no one could see me, and I did a lot of damage. I mean, I ended up winning that game, and it was because of that combination. The only saving grace I have for the SPAs and quirks is that I know that somewhere on their list of priorities, Catalyst is going to rework those.
Oh, good.
It's not this year. It's probably not next year, but it is on their list. They do know that they need some work done, and it is going. They are going to be rewritten. So I will reserve some judgment for when that happens. For right now, like they're absolutely like not for serious play.
Yeah.
Like, it is for your campaigns. It is for like when you're just messing around with something like a blind box where winning isn't really the priority. It's they're there to have fun with. They're not there to play a serious game with.
Yeah, quirks are quirky. I don't play with quirks a lot because I will admit that I tend to not end up playing narrative games. I don't dislike narrative play. I just don't get to come out in a regular fashion. So my games end up being pickup games and stuff like that. So in my head, if as soon as the SPAs and the quirks are in the game, we're boom, narrative mode. So these aren't NPEs so much for me, just because it's just I'm in that headspace where I'm like, this is a narrative game.
Yeah, they have no business being in a tournament of any sort at all.
So we talked about kind of rock, paper, scissors. We know we don't like hard counters.
Right.
And so we've been talking about a lot of, we opened with randomness. You got your Plinko board, you got your bell curve, you've got very predictable things. White noise is just a kind of randomness that is relatively predictable. Pink noise is the same kind of randomness, and occasionally something crazy happens. Now, according to the internet and research papers that I didn't read, pink noise is special for human brains. These are slot machines. These are 2 sets of UAC 20s doing 80 points of damage. This is through armor crits. Pink noise can elicit more of the juices that we like from our brains, or perhaps make us more upset. And I think we are looking for pink noise in the game because it is exciting when usually you're rolling hits, usually you're chipping away at armor, but every now and then something crazy happens. some of them feel a little better because the pink noise happens, but what's the result of the pink noise? You roll the snake eyes, you roll the boxcars. What happens because of that? You know, do you automatically die? Well, that's probably going to make you feel a little worse. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want randomness in my game of Battletech because, you know, like Baisel said, I'm not playing chess. Chess has no randomness, and it's one of the biggest war games in the West. Maybe that's not a coincidence, but I also have played chess before, and I don't like chess. I've played Battletech before, and I do like Battletech.
See, I love chess.
Oh, you do?
I'm a big, like, not like competitive player. Like, I was on the chess team in high school and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I did, you know, competitive stuff there. But after high school, I didn't do competitive, but I've continued to play chess throughout my entire life.
Okay.
I do enjoy it. And I have even referred to Battletech in chess ways because positioning is important, but then you've got dice, and that changes everything. You can do a lot with positioning, but it really comes down to your luck, and there is no luck in chess. Mm-hmm. Like when the knight goes to take the bishop, you don't roll and say, "Oh yeah, well you tried to, but the bishop rolled really well, and you rolled poorly, so the bishop actually killed you."
Surprise!
Yeah. That doesn't happen in chess.
There's no pink noise in chess, but you still like it.
I do. I do.
All right.
I mean, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd pick Battletech. I would, but I do like chess. But you're right. You're right that I don't get the same rush as I do with Battletech, and it's that pink noise, which now I have to go do more research on because what you have said intrigues me.
Yeah,
but I definitely understand what you're saying about that, and when you likened it to slot machines, I'm like, oh yeah, okay,
yeah.
Like, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, man, that rush.
And it has the noise. Slot machines have noise.
Yep.
You win some, you win a little bit on some, you lose a little bit on some, blah blah blah.
And then you get that one,
bam, jackpot, big win, pink noise, yay, exciting.
Luckily in Battletech, I can be just as excited about my opponent head capping my mech as I am about head capping his, because it's just something exciting that happened in the game, and that's what I look for in Battletech. It's exciting things happening. I don't care if it's my team or their team. I just want cool, exciting, explosion-y things to happen.
Yeah, I think on the Denham Josh spectrum, I'm somewhere in the middle. There are definitely times when I'm a little grouchy that you scooped my gyro out, and I still have armor on my mech. A little grouchy that you hit me in the face with a large pulse laser and my king crab. You just critted my cockpit out of my king crab. I honestly
think that some of this has to do with the age difference between us too.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Denham has lived and seen.
Yeah.
What are we looking to get out of each game of Battletech problem? Like, you've had enough Battletech. Like, anything you get now is... I want to be like, I've reached the statistical average amount of maximum Battletech I can get. Anything else is bonus at this point. And I'm like,
I know how good I am. Like, that's just it. There's no question that I know how to play Battletech and I can play it well. So that means that I am not like, I am not playing. Yeah, I'm not being competitive for all of my games. I don't have to be. I can just play for fun. And it is a different mindset. Not having that question, well, am I better than this person or not? It doesn't matter anymore. In some ways, that makes it a lot easier for me to play tournaments. In some ways, it just ends up at the end.
Nothing to prove, everything to lose.
Yeah, Denham has reached self-actualization, has ascended to the next
And this is why I teach Battletech.
That's true.
That's true.
You've got the doctorate tenure position, but I don't.
I do.
At least in Classic. I've got it in
Alpha Strike's still new for me. Alpha Strike's still new. I haven't been playing Alpha Strike for 40 years.
God, it's coming up on 40, isn't it?
Alpha Strike, I don't know, but Classic is 40. Yeah. 40 years is the big 40-year celebration next year. Yep.
Gosh, the 35th anniversary was just 4 years ago, technically, but it feels like less than that. Do we want to quickly play my Change It, Remove It, or Sacred?
Sure.
For all the things we've gone over. All right, rapid fire. Tax, change it, remove it, or keep it sacred?
Oh no, we're keeping it.
I would love to change it.
You got to say 2.
Oh, I said sacred. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We said it at the same time. It's sacred.
All right.
So I
Leave my tax
I
alone.
wouldn't completely change it. I would just say like the worst thing is like one thing happens. Like if you 8 up, like it's max 1. Like there's no
Okay.
there's no 10 up or 12. It's just
All right.
the max thing that can happen is one thing.
But then you can't blow off that arm and use it as. Oh, sorry, we're doing this fast. Yeah,
We're doing this rapid fire headshots.
Yep. Disagree.
Change it,
but go
keep
on.
it sacred.
It's sacred for headshots. Absolutely super. It's
Yep.
the big cheer moment in a game.
Woo! Sacred.
I actually want to get rid of headshots.
Oh, just do away with it.
And
All right.
I know we didn't touch on this, but headshots and PSRs in general. Like I don't want the 20 damage headshot or the 20 damage anymore. I just want me to shoot. And if you have armor, you got armor. Like that's great.
This is super sounds like Alpha Strike to me.
Blake
I'm
is
somewhere
sending
in
you
the
straight
middle.
to hell. Blake
Straight.
is sending you straight to hell. All right. Initiative. Change it. Sacred. Keep
I got
it.
no problems with initiative. It's sacred. It stays.
I'd change it. I'd like to change it.
I wish there was a modifier. Like if you won the last one, like there's something that prevents you. Like it's harder
A
to
catch-up
win.
method.
It's harder to win. Yeah. Like I can't win 4 in a row statistically anymore.
I just like the deck. If you bring more units, you're gonna win initiative more frequently, but you know which units are on the cards in the thing, but you don't know which one's gonna move when. I like the way the initiative deck shakes that up.
I have no. Okay, I like the dice the way they are. I also like the initiative deck. I use that too. I just don't think either one needs to be changed. But I think optionally you can use either one. I've got no problems with that.
All right, T-Simp, remove it. Change it.
It's
Sacred.
fine. It's fine that it's there, but anything that's an all or nothing like that,
Yeah.
An 8 up, you get shut down. I don't mind it being there. I would like it tweaked a bit.
Just get rid of it. I'm team remove.
I'm on the when I look through Dark Age stuff, I'm like, cool. This is roughly the equivalent of like a large laser PPC. Can we just give it like everyone turns it to damage mode at post Dark Age, and I'm like, cool, yeah, let's just change it completely and say, yeah, it used to do that, and now it never does.
There are a lot of Dark Age things that I just, I kind of want the Dark Age to just disappear. I understand that they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be sad if it did just go away.
Okay.
All right. Remove ECM, change it. Is it sacred? C3 ECM and its interaction with C3I, I guess. That interaction.
If by changing it means make ECCM more relevant than
standard,
yes, change it. But okay. I don't mind it being there. I don't mind C3. I just don't like the hard counter of one ECM kills it, and there's nothing else you can do. So the ECCM is the change I'm looking for. But so change.
You're on team
change it.
I play Merrick and you play DCMS, so it's safe.
I do. Yeah. Thanks. I see what you did there.
Josh, no?
I wish ECM wasn't the hard counter. I know C3I is like take the whatever range bracket, so I wish ECM was like take that bracket and take the next bracket essentially. Like,
so change.
Artillery. I mean, I haven't personally experienced the, tag Copperhead thing. It's
the battle armor is the only thing I really have a problem with right now.
Yeah.
So I almost say keep it like it is. Just give us time to see if we can come up with better answers, a better meta for the battle armor.
Okay.
It might be out there. We just haven't discovered it yet.
Yeah. I'll just tweak the things so they feel less bad, I guess. All right.
SBAs and quirks are already being changed.
They're already being changed. So yeah, I think everybody's team change on SBA and quirks.
Yeah, no one is happy with those. Like no one that is fair and impartial that I would put as a arbiter for anything. I would put is SBA's balance. Oh sure, cool. I don't trust you to do anything ever.
All right. So we've come to the end of the change it, remove it, sacred segment. We've got I see more stuff here.
I don't think there were any surprises in there at all.
Yeah. All right, folks. You can contact us on Facebook at the MechBay Podcast. You can also send us your hate mail at the MechBay Podcast at gmail.com. shoot us a message on Discord. You can find our Discord link on the internet, just Facebook. We have an Instagram.
Show notes of every episode.
Yep, and the show notes. Hit up our Instagram and slide into our DMs over there as well. And thanks to you all, we were able to get our cockpits detailed by a local crew. And thanks to our patrons, we were able to pay for the med bay bills that they incurred after they cleaned out our cockpits. I'm not usually a mech foot guy, but the blood ass feet really do it for me. Those are good looking feet.